Hey guys, welcome back. I have a fun video today on food storage, a second part to the kitchen organization, and also just sharing some feng shui tips, a lot of education here, and I hope you stay to the end for a really cool organization tip. Starting out with the fridge, I wanted to do a quick summary on that. Some of the things that you might not anticipate putting in the fridge, you want to make sure your citrus, apples, berries, a lot of your vegetables and herbs, except basil, and nuts, which is a big one that a lot of people don't really realize. These things are going to do best in the fridge versus out on your countertops. Some of the storage tips for these items: herbs, place them in water, in a nice mason jar of water. They're going to do really well. Also carrots and celery will do better when you put a little bit of water in the bin with them. You want to make sure that you're not overcrowding your drawers so that you don't cause your food to spoil faster. The other thing is with greens, you want to avoid moisture on them, so having bins and containers with vent lids on them is going to be a little bit better. And just remember, when you're talking about the humidity level of your drawers, lower humidity is better for things that spoil and higher humidity is better for things that wilt. So that is one thing that you can help keep you in mind for a guide. And if you want a little bit more detail on that, I just had a video on my refrigeration organization. It goes into a little bit more depth. You can check that out. I'll put a link in the description below. Now, some of the things that you want to take out of your fridge, you do want to put bread on your countertops. You do want to take your potatoes and your onions out of your fridge, place those in your pantry. Make sure they're not near each other. Potatoes and onions will spoil if left beside each other. And then, your fruits. So obviously bananas, but sometimes tomatoes and such do better on the counter as well. Now, starting with a spice storage and organization, you see I have this kind of large knife block taking up some space in my spice cabinet. I did hang up a magnetic wall mount for hanging knives just to get that out of the cabinet. You do not want those on your countertop. Just FYI, in feng shui, that's a really bad idea. You do not want to have visible knives. So I am hanging those up, and then I'm putting in a nice little spice rack to get those spices in the cabinet organized and not visible. One of the things you want to keep in mind: why do you want to keep them put away? Spice compounds, they react with heat, they react with moisture, direct light, oxygen. So for you to keep your spices fresh so that they do well for you long term, you really do want to keep them put away, either in the cupboard or the drawer. I know there's some really beautiful options for keeping them on your counter, but they're just not going to last as long for you. Now, when it comes to oil storage, this is a similar idea. You want to keep them in a cooler area. You want to keep them in dark bottles. Why? Because they also degrade with light. And glass bottles are the best, because that's going to prevent them from evaporating and oxygen getting to the oils and spoiling them faster. Just a side note, with another oil you want to keep in mind, sesame oil, it's probably better to keep that one in the fridge because it does not last as long as regular oils. Now, I got these nice little jars from the Dollar Tree. They're really they're really inexpensive and really cute. And so some of the things that I have a larger quantity of, I did place in those larger jars. And then I got some from IKEA, just that I like to decant some things that I do use frequently. So just to keep in mind, ground spices, they last for about 6 months, and whole spices will last for about 1 to 2 years. And what that means is that after that time, you're going to start to notice that the flavor profile will decrease. And so that's, they don't typically spoil, but they will not taste as well and give it flavor, which is the point of using them. Salt, on the other hand, is not necessarily a spice, it's a mineral, so it doesn't follow those same principles. Other than getting moisture in it, it should last indefinitely. These little shelf ledges and elevators, the white one I got on the right is from IKEA, and then the multi-tiered one is from the Dollar Tree. So you can get some really affordable items to just help elevate your space. And then I took those jars from the Dollar Tree and I put them on this nice little Lazy Susan to help utilize that space under that elevation stand. And just, the feeling is a lot nicer when you look at your spice cabinet when it's organized. The rest of the spices that I don't decant, things that are a little bit more specialty items, I'm going to sort them into bins. And so I recommend using bins for a frequent use bin, a baking bin, and a cooking bin. And then I have one for overstock, so things that I have 1 or 2 of. And then this way, you just pull that down off of the shelf, and it keeps things nice and tidy. And I'm really pleased with the way this turned out, and it's very affordable. Anybody can do this. The next feng shui tip is to clear the clutter, and I know you've heard me say this before, but this is one of the reasons why I do a lot of these organization videos. Is it's so important in the energy flow of your home. And so one of the things I did here was, instead of using the basket and the banana hook, I took that and I took a basket and placed it on the wall. I really like this one that I got from Amazon, and it frees up my counter space as well. And then I switched focus to this area where I have these appliances out all the time. I wanted to find a home for them because I use them every day. And so this is a great solution. This is a drawer that pulls out that you can install underneath your cabinetry. Now this is an island in my kitchen, and you see I have one installed already on the other side, and I actually have plugs underneath it here. So what I did was I sat down the template and I drew a line around that to get an idea of how much space I would need in the top drawer there, top level. And then I took my right angle and I just drew some straight lines there just to bring it in a little bit. And what you want to do is, using a jigsaw, just go ahead and cut out on that inner line, and this is going to create space for those appliances to have the clearance to be in this island. And so this was obviously, you want to do this really precisely because you're making a cut into your kitchen shelving unit, so this is permanent, so you do want it to be nice. And then I went ahead and polished the edges with some stain to make it look nice. Now I installed this drawer, I put all my appliances on there, and let me tell you how wonderful it is that after I'm done using these, I can just push this shelf in and close the doors and it's done. It's not on my counter causing visual clutter. It just feels so good. I just pull them out to use them, I let it cool down a little bit, and then I just push it right in. And I have my toaster on this one. It's been that way for a long time, and we really love that. We pull it out, we use it, we let it cool down for a minute, and then we just push it back in and it's gone. And so this really allows you to clear up your space, reduce the visual clutter, and to feel organized in your home. And just to be clear, I am using these appliances directly on that metal rack. I just have them pulled out generally when I use them. And so you could do something similar even if you don't have electricity in your island. Just attach an extension cord to the plug so that when you pull it out, you would just plug it in and then from the wall but not move it, and then you would just unplug it and slide your appliances back in. And it's just going to make everything a lot more tidy for you. And so I hope you enjoyed, and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you guys next time.